Welcome back to another game of Brotato. Today we are going to be playing the Brawler. We get a bunch of attack speed with unarmed weapons, which we obviously have to start with. We get additional dodge, but we can't really use ranged weapons. And in my opinion, even though we start with a fist, I think going with the claw is a better option. The claw has much better crit damage scaling, also scales off attack speed, and gives you free crit chance. You pretty much get 40% free crit chance if you get a bunch of tier 4 claws. Because the tier 4 claw actually has 25% innate crit, and precise weapon class gives you 15%. And on top of that, you also have 30% dodge to start. So the Brawler does get a lot of free stats. You also get the 50% attack speed, I forgot to mention that. So yeah, we just get a bunch of free stats. So generally speaking, I say the Brawler is pretty good for uh, for 20 wave runs. For endless runs, maybe not so much. Also, I should definitely be selling this fist. I kind of got sidetracked there for a second. Sell the fist and then keep rolling for claws. We don't want to buy any items there, and the reason for that is something that is not really explained in the game itself. But shop 1, you have a 50% chance to see the weapons or weapons from the weapon class that you have equipped. So we have claws equipped. Putting it really simply, we have a 50% chance to see claws in shop 1, 47% in shop 2, and that decreases down to 30% and then stops decreasing. Let's roll a bit more. I will take more luck early on, is very nice. A claw, and one more roll. One more roll. That was a little greedy. I was basically rolling because shop 2, 1 and 2 also always show you 2 weapons. So I had 2 items locked, I'm always going to see 2 weapons there. And I have a pretty high chance of seeing a claw. So what I wanted to do was roll for cheap and then lock the claw and buy it next shop. Okay, very nice. I'm also focusing down the trees here a bit because trees can drop loot crates, or at least they have a much higher chance. Also, I see a loot alien. No, we didn't have the damage to kill it. Recycling machine is amazing though. Lemonade also quite nice. Let's see, we'll take a bit of speed and armor, sure. These are very defensive stats, but the thing is we are going to want these types of stats eventually, so just taking them early on is not an issue. We don't have to force roll for something else. It's a tier 2 upgrade on our level 3, right? Or wave 3. That is very nice. I'm happy to take that. And if that were attack speed and max HP or crit chance and something else, right, I would still take it. If it were luck, I'd probably still take it. Because you just want to try and take the most valuable level up upgrades that you can. If you need 10 different stats and you want to prioritize one, it doesn't matter, right? If you find something good, you take it. I will take luck here early on, or luck, and let's see what else we have. Butterfly is actually quite nice. It's very expensive. I am going to pick it up though, and I'll also even lock this one and this. There we go. Lifesteal, in my opinion, is much better than HP regeneration on the Brawler. HP regen is not a stat that's easy to stack up, nor is it very good unless you have a lot of it. So it's kind of a niche stat for characters that either have a lot of money, a lot of level ups maybe, or are just like tanky characters. But like the Brawler is definitely not one of those. I'd say the Brawler just likes having a bit of lifesteal because you attack so quickly that you have a ton of chances to proc the lifesteal and just heal yourself. And it's definitely going to outperform HP regen unless you have a ton of it, but that means you're taking away from your other stats. Sunglasses is amazing, attack speed is also amazing. And we got, look how many things we're getting here. Claw, Butterfly for healing, and lock a claw again. And the reason I'm rolling, even though I can't afford anything there, is just because those early shops are so cheap, the rerolls are so cheap, it is almost always worth it in my opinion, especially if you don't really have anything locked. You might as well roll while it's cheap, and then you can lock something and just buy it immediately in the next shop. You can do the math on that, right? But I think overall it's still just worth it to make that a habit. That doesn't mean roll to 0 every single round, but especially in the early rounds, it's pretty worth it in my opinion, because those rerolls are really cheap. Like you might be spending 5-6 materials on a reroll, then you get to late game and you're like, oh god, I'm spending 50 for one reroll, right? And Scar is great. Elemental. Oh, sorry, we don't need elemental damage. We'll even take some lifesteal. Law upgrade. The six materials for real, now 8. Black Belt is great. Just melee damage, and the XP gain is the important part though. Oh, Salt Water is nice too. Melee damage, attack speed, which we want, and we get some movement speed. More luck here, and let's just keep going. And I only had 10 materials. It cost 12 to reroll. If I had 12, I actually would have rerolled again there, just to show my point. We do want to be a little careful, but there's not really anything in these early waves that's dangerous. Aside from this, for example, the Walrus. The Walrus is kind of like the Bruiser. If anyone here played the old game, or not the old game, but the base Brotato game, the Walrus is a lot like the Bruiser. It pretty much is just a big tanky enemy that tries to charge at you, and that's it. It hits very hard, so you do want to be careful with that. Yeah, aside from the Bruiser, or sorry, aside from the Walrus, maybe the Clams can be dangerous because they do shoot projectiles, which makes it harder for newer players to maneuver, I think. Let's go and recycle that. Oh, crit chance is amazing. More lifesteal, we'll go ahead and take that. And ritual damage percent and lifesteal will also take that. And we are going to reroll here. Another black belt. I mean, we can take it. We're getting a lot of additional XP gain. So something that would be really nice right now is actually a item that gives us additional enemy spawns. Also, we did get charged by that anglerfish, which is the enemy there on the bottom left currently with the light bulb in front of its head. It does a ton of small charges back to back, so you just want to keep moving around it to make sure you're not getting hit. Oh, and the goblin shark is here as well. Goblin shark is really dangerous actually, in my opinion. You want to be careful because it does a super long charge. It's nothing like the anglerfish. Super long charge, like it'll charge nearly across the entire map. Like this, watch. You see that? It charged all the way down there from the top left. It's extremely long charge range. So just be careful with those charges and try to avoid getting hit by them. Alright, easy enough again, right? Super, super easy. Little muscly dude is great. Attack speed is great. Melee damage and XP gain. A sunken bell. Once per wave you explode for 1, and then it depends on your melee damage, ranged, elemental, and engineering. The issue is we have negative 50 range damage, so it's not really going to work for us. We can get the spyglass and lock the hedgehog. Again, we don't really need HP regeneration, so we're pretty much just paying for the melee damage. And I'm clearing out this big enemy here because it does spawn these eggs, as you can see. There's an egg to my top left. I can actually let it spawn so you guys see. It spawns Slasher, the Slasher enemy, which is this one here. And there is a small thing that some people may not know, but the egg does not give you materials. However, the Slasher that spawns out of it does. So if you feel safe, you can actually let the egg spawn, specifically so you can kill it and get more XP and materials. It's kind of a like very, very minimal difference, so it's not something you really need to think about, but it is something I personally do very naturally as someone who has played this game way too much. So it's something you can think about if you didn't know that. Yeah, I can go ahead and let these eggs hatch into slashers and then get the materials from them, because they actually do drop a decent amount of materials. Now I just want to clear as many enemies as possible, right, with a few seconds left in the wave. We don't need any of these, or these. Luck is okay. Damage percent is okay, and it's a tier 3 melee damage upgrade, so I will take that. We don't want to lose crit chance, we're going to go and skip that. Crit chance plus 10 is great, amazing actually. Bone dice. Okay, so this is an interesting item. You basically are trading stats 1 to 1. Because how it works is that for every pretty much 5 damage percent you get, you lose 1 max HP. And the way it works is that 1 max HP is equivalent to about, I believe it's like 1.75% damage or something. So the bone dice is pretty good, especially if you don't actually need that much max HP. And as the, well, we can lock the shady potion, luck, and we only lose HP regen, which we don't care about. But as a brawler, we do care about max HP, of course, but we don't need it more badly than we need damage percent. Because the thing is, we want to focus on crit chance and attack speed. Damage percent we want, it's important, but attack speed and crit chance are actually more important. And then melee damage is not super important. It is nice if you can get some good valuable upgrades or items that have melee damage on them. But overall, attack speed, crit chance, the most important, and then damage percent comes next. This is if you're using the claw. If you're using the fist, then you completely negate everything I just said. Just completely ignore what I said. You don't need crit chance with the fist. This is only for the claw. For the fist, you pretty much only focus on melee damage, and then attack speed and damage percent. That's it. So it's ever so slightly different. Basically, we don't care too much about melee damage. We want crit chance. But if you were using the fist, it'd be the opposite. So it's just a small difference between the two weapons. We do not need range damage, thank you. Oh, damage percent, great. And crit chance and attack speed. Oh, difficult choice. I do think attack speed is easier to get, so I'm going to go ahead and take crit chance. Luck, damage percent, crit and dodge. And then attack speed and crit chance and melee damage. So we're getting a lot of valuable items here. Poisonous Tonic is perfect for us, right? We don't care about HP regen. And getting a little range it's kind of negligible. But the crit chance and attack speed are perfect. Plus Hedgehog, again, just free melee damage. Or like, relatively cheap melee damage, I should say. And you can see we only have tier 2 weapons, but we are doing pretty well for ourselves. We're hitting for about 82 per hit, because we crit nearly every attack. And that's because the tier 2 claw has 15% innate crit. So the crit we currently have is actually not what our weapons have. Our weapons have 15% more than what we actually have as a character. And just like I mentioned earlier, the Goblin Sharks can hit really hard, so you do want to be careful around these guys. And they have a super long charge. So just pay attention, move out of the way. Try to keep your eye on the Goblin Sharks mostly. You see, every time I see one doing a charge towards me, I try to move out the way. Like that. We're getting near the end of the wave here, so I want to walk in a bit, try to hit more enemies. Okay, perfect. We don't need those stats, let's recycle that. We don't need HP regen. Dodge is okay. We start with 30% dodge, so it's actually relatively easy to get to 60% if you just take a little bit along the way. Oh, a fish hook. Interesting. Let's go ahead and pick that up. And lock the claw. So fish hook, what it does is it gives you 20% chance to curse an item when you leave the shop. Item or weapon. And I do believe it adds on to what you already have. So that would mean we have 21.4% chance. Okay, let's just go ahead and do this. We are against a horde here on wave 12. Horde is really good for us because we took so many XP gain items early on that we are just gonna farm XP here and probably get a double level up. I wouldn't be surprised if we got a double level up. Also, make sure you focus the clams on this wave, especially if you're fighting the horde like I am. If you're fighting an elite, this is a very different game. But you can see how low I got, and the clams forcing me to walk in certain directions is not helping. So here, I try to let them walk as close to me as possible and then run in a bit to hit them. I also have a blobfish here. I'm going to focus in a second. I'm trying not to until I clear out some space. Because it spawns lampreys, which means that we're going to have some charging enemies that shoot projectiles. And I don't want those spawning the second I'm getting kind of berated in the corner, right? I want a little bit of space to work with when I kill the blobfish. And you can see only those clams at the start of the wave spawn, but then they don't spawn later. So, completely fine, right? Very, very easy. Damage percent is great, crit chance is great, attack speed is great, and we instantly got the fish hook upgrade on our claw. See? Very, very nice, right? That is amazing. If you look at the damage scaling, in comparison, it's nearly doubled. We have 46% attack speed scaling damage, 93% melee damage scaling, and it has better critical damage as well. 2.7 times critical multiplier. If we find another claw, we're instantly going to combine it so I can show you guys the difference. Poisonous Tonic is great, and so is the Warrior Helmet, actually. Okay, we found the claw. Let's go ahead and combine these two, and look at it. 56% attack speed scaling, 93% melee scaling, and 2.9 times critical damage. It's just insane, right? You can also lock this, and we would pick up the charcoal, but I'm a bit of a charcoal hater, I'm gonna be honest. I'm not a big fan of the charcoal on most characters. I really dislike losing harvesting. It's absolutely worth it if I'm being honest to you. I'm just telling you in good faith that the charcoal is actually pretty good. I should have taken it, but I dislike the item, so I refuse to take it. But yeah, you should take it though, if you are just trying to do your best to win. Also here, the only real issue is the stonefish and the goblin sharks. There are also these enemies though. You see this enemy called the Stargazer. It spawns together with the pod, which is, the pod is the thing below me. It doesn't do anything. It's just like a little house for the Stargazers. And so what happens is they spawn together. If you kill the pod before you kill the Stargazer gets enraged. So it deals like additional damage and all this blah blah blah. And then if you don't, it goes into the pod. And after a set amount of time, it spawns this like monstrosity, basically. More attack speed. Another claw upgrade. Claw. We're gonna take the warrior helmet, claw upgrade again, and a piggy bank. We can go and take a piggy bank. Piggy bank should pay for itself eventually. Oh, we are fighting the, I believe this is called the giant. Or am I mistaken? You see phase 1? Oh, okay, well it's dead. Unfortunately, I can't be. I'm sorry, the educational moment got ruined. But it has like 2 beams that come around it in like a 180-degree angle, and then it kind of does it in like I believe it was counterclockwise there. I think it can be either way. Sometimes forget, but basically it rotates around the boss in phase 1, and then he does 2 slashes. So what you want to do is walk around the map, right, just like this, the edge of the map, and then move up like this, and then walk around this side, and then same thing, move to the left, and just move in like a rectangular motion around the map, and just drag him with you. And that's how you end up killing him relatively easily. The other thing is that he... Wait a second, let me make sure we don't die randomly. Let's just finish out this wave. There are some enraged enemies on the map, so be careful. We don't need that. We can take that. Attack speed. No, let's take crit. And that's it for now. But yeah, the thing is, his second phase, he starts charging, so you just have to be careful when he starts charging. I will take a whetstone, more lifesteal, a claw, some armor is really nice. 2 armor, because we're only sitting at 3 armor. I'd be happy to have even 10 armor, if I'm being honest. You can never really be too safe. Losing a tiny bit of damage for a bunch of safety, or like a backup measure to keep you alive, is definitely worth it in my opinion. I also lock the whistle there, because the whistle can make more loot alien spawn, which means we get more loot crates, and that's obviously a good thing. This wave, you can see we have squids spawning now. I think they're called, are they called like colossal squids? I forgot what the game calls them, but yeah, we just call them squids, right? And they do 2 slashes towards you. So again, to make your own life easier, anything that does like a bunch of small charges or slashes, you should generally focus those. I'd say the order of like operations is like projectile enemies die first, or spawning enemies. Well, there's no buffing enemies here, right? So usually it'd be something like, yeah, maybe projectile enemies and spawning enemies should die first, then charging enemies, and then everything else is kind of equal. Like, look how many slashes are coming towards me. It looks kind of funny. Let's go ahead and reroll this. One more reroll. One more. One more. One more? Okay, dodge. We'll take dodge. I just wanted anything like relatively good. I wasn't really happy with any of the stats I was getting there, so I kept rolling. We don't really need more luck at this point. Just go ahead and roll to try and find better things. Nothing. We didn't really find anything, so let's just continue again. And here we go. Here's a perfect time to show you guys the Stargazer. So you see, I killed the pod and it got angry. Watch this. See, it's angry now. It's running at me. And I'll also try and let one of them hatch in a moment. Okay, there we go, there we go. So see, there's a Stargazer. Look, in its natural habitat, roaming through the center of the map in the Abyssal Terror. Let's kill the enemies and everything else first. And look at that. See, that's what happens. This monstrosity spawns, right? Looks like this massive thing. And apparently it's called a dragonfish in-game. I think that's just the name they gave it. I don't think it's an actual fish. If this is an actual fish, then my nightmares aren't crazy enough, I guess. I don't know. Also, I'm gonna go over and kill the sea pig so I can get a bit of additional curse for myself. Yeah, there's pretty much no reason to let the stargazers hatch. I guess you could do it for a similar reason with the as with the other enemy, the slasher, to get more materials, but it's not really necessary. It's just something you can keep in mind if you want to. Speed is nice because we have 1% only, so it's going to take that. Also, I completely forgot I had the fish hook, guys, because I've just been talking and talking. So maybe we should, let's just go and take this. Actually, we don't need crit chance. We're, like, capped already. So I guess we could lock the power generator. Oh, let's lock the claw. Okay, let's do that. That's a good idea. Let's lock the claw and the power generator. Either one of those gets buffed, and I'm happy. But we have to be very careful. This one is called the prisoner, this enemy. And you see phase 1 is actually pretty dangerous with all those projectiles. And phase 2, and this, in my opinion, the prisoner is one of the most dangerous elites in Abyssal Terrace. So just be very careful when you're against it. We kind of deleted it immediately because we're too strong at this point in the run. But if we had seen that on an earlier wave, it would have been very scary. So definitely keep it in mind if you fight the prisoner. Run for your life. No, not actually. But don't panic and just make sure you're getting out of its little cage of projectiles over and over. Because those projectiles can mess you up very easily. You get hit by one projectile, and then suddenly a charge hits you, and then suddenly another projectile clips you, and you're just dead all of a sudden, right? Your run was going so well, and then that happens. So just be careful. Alright, super easy wave though. Very, very nice. Okay, we're definitely not taking Etsy's couch. We're not doing that type of game today. We upgraded the power generator. So now it gives us 2% damage for every 1 speed we have. That is insane. Very, very nice. And we got a legendary claw. Okay, guys. Maybe the play is to just let this get cursed then? That might be the play, guys. We could also try and curse the sunken bell. Maybe it'll actually be useful then. No, maybe not right now. Alright, let's just continue. Let's give that claw a chance to get cursed. And why don't we just go ahead and let this stargazer hatch? Go ahead, buddy. Go to your pod. Have fun. I'm feeling generous. I'm gonna let this one hatch. You see it turns red and then it goes on, it says this little timer. And here it comes. Dragonfish. Boom. And it's gone. So yeah, it doesn't really matter at this point. So I will say the best thing we could possibly do is just take more armor and more dodge. Because at some point, you are just overkilling everything and dealing unnecessary damage, right? There's just no point for us to get more damage when we could make our lives a lot easier and just get armor, dodge, and HP. So I'm definitely going to be on the lookout for those stats. Yeah, again, we don't need more damage. If I do find like a tier 4 attack speed or something, damage percent, I will take that, of course. Just because it's really good value. But again, just taking more tinky stats at this point would absolutely confirm the run. You do not want to lose speed. Okay, so perfect example. See, I'm really tempted to take speed because it also counts as damage. But I'm going to take dodge because it's the right thing to do. Okay, here we go. We get this. Go ahead and roll a bit. Let's see if we can find something to lock as well. That would be very nice. Also, our tier 4 claws actually have 103% crit, so we don't need more for those. And let's just keep rolling. We could actually lock the metal. That's not a bad idea. Lock the metal and lock the glass cannon. So let's just lock really high potential damage items. And the metal is not even necessarily just for damage. It gives HP and armor, so it's very, very good. Also, look at my health. I got hit one time, guys. One time. So something went through my dodge and I lost like 20 health, right? So I'm saying, just having more armor. If you're dodge capped, you're already sitting at like 50 health and you don't have that much armor, then just pick up a bit of armor and you'll be really safe. At least compared to, you know, like 10 armor compared to 3 armor is a massive difference. So that is how you make sure you don't just randomly die, especially when you go into wave 20 versus the 2 bosses. Because the whale and the eel are actually really dangerous, in my opinion. Even as someone who's played this game a lot, I haven't played Abyssal Terrace a ton yet, but as someone who's played just Brotato in general a lot, movement versus those two is actually pretty difficult, I'd say. I don't think it's easy at all. And you can see here I'm still taking damage. I'm kind of yapping too much. Let me be quiet and not die randomly. Okay, easy enough, right? We made it to the wave. Okay, so armor for HP is good. I'll take that. Mastery is great. Can we get... Yeah, sure. We'll just take armor. Oh, neither of them got cursed. That's actually so sad. Very, very sad. We could take the glass cannon. You know what? We're gonna do it anyways. We're not gonna take the metal because it didn't get cursed. I was gonna say, yeah, can we get a claw upgrade maybe? Yeah, we can go ahead and take this. Let's take that. Anything else before we go? Another claw, there we go, perfect. Okay, and we're poor. We would have bought mastery maybe, or injection as well, but we're out of materials, so yeah, let's just do it. You can see our two weapons here. This one is insane, right? So this claw got a really nice curse on it. We're killing the whale first. There's not really like a specific thing you should focus. Oh my god, okay, I kind of got trapped in the corner there. I did not play that super well. The eel, actually, once it does its phase 2, I think it's a little easier. Because you can kind of just move out of the swirls. Also, look how many things we did. We unlocked the hiker. Very nice. But yeah, easy enough, right? We got through the wave. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below. And yeah, next time we will be doing crazy. So hope you guys come and watch that. And yeah, please leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Okay? That's it for today. Goodbye. Bye-bye.